Our lives are more complicated than ever. We're juggling projects, managing people, trying to get things done, make progress on long term efforts. It feels like we're drowning in a digital sea. There's all these notifications, there's different apps have to tie together, there's plates dropped, and it really can feel like your hair is on fire when trying to really get things done, stay coherent. I don't believe any single app is a panacea to this. I truly believe that underlying workflows need to be reimagined and refocused for all this to work. But I feel like many of us are really fighting an uphill battle when it comes to making a smooth, efficient, and reliable digital workflow, not only for thinking, for getting things done, for collaborating. A lot of off-the-shelf tools and apps have a predefined workflow that I think is limiting. It says, hey, let's build a piece of software that will cover most project types and give you most of the tools, but it's so vanilla and generic that really doesn't do anything really all that effectively. There's not a great way to share things intuitively. You're stuck with their own workflows, and I don't think it really works well for the live event production industry. We're used to being able to have control over our technology, to be able to have a console in front of us, to fine tune things, to be a producer of a show and really get the white balance right. And I don't feel like most productivity apps or ways to organize information and coordinate work give you that amount of flexibility. Well, until now, what I'm going to share with you is an app that's really revolutionized the way that I've got work done in my own business. I've been using it about 3 years now. It's been an iterative process as I've both learned this tool and learned a new way to coordinate and do work, not only with myself, but as I'm starting to hire for more of my team, how if I work with freelancers, how I work with production companies, how I share things with clients. And it's been a powerful tool. I'm able to use automations to speed things up, and now has AI built in, so you can leverage the power of ChatGPT and other coming apps to really speed things up, bounce ideas off of. It's a really powerful setup. I've really fallen in love with Tiago Forte's idea of a second brain, where the human biological brain is really good at a number of things, but holding information isn't one of them. We need to have an external lattice work to work within and take care of that so we can do our best thinking. And what I've chosen to house my second brain is Notion. I'm super pumped to share this app with you today. You've probably seen me use it in other videos. If you've got my audio toolkit, that's where it's hosted. I need to do some work on that and make it a little bit prettier, by the way. Anyway, today I want to give you not an exhaustive look at the entire app, but I want to show you why is it important to have your digital life structured this way, and why is Notion the app to do that for you. What are some Notion basics so you can get started today and start having this app work for you? And then we're going to jump into some actual use cases and examples of how I use it in my real workflow and life. Again, it's not just something I just use for note taking. It really is the digital epicenter of everything I do. I do want to share that below I have an affiliate link that at no extra cost to you if you choose to go from the free plan to their plus plan, which is only $10 a month, that it will help support me and what I'm doing. Again, you can really get started for free and have a huge amount of access and tools available to you for free. So I don't want that to be a barrier for you. But I would say if you want to support me in the channel, what I'm doing, please sign up with that link and that will go a long way. All right, so let's jump into why Notion, and then we'll go through to actually teaching you how to use it and how I use it. First up, why have I migrated my entirety of my digital life into Notion? Why was it worth this amount of switching costs to have to spin up this new workflow, pull everything from all these disparate places and put it into this one app to rule them all? To be clear, I do still use other apps, but significantly less. And that's my main first point, is that it eliminates other tools and processes that were cluttering up getting things done. So all my notes, all my projects, tasks, read laters, SOP, everything lives in here. This is one trusted source of truth. I'm not having to think about pulling out 17 different junk drawers. I just know that everything lives in here, and I love that simplicity. So I used to take notes in Obsidian because I liked its workflow, but what was a note versus a task, well, that lived in Notion, but sometimes I needed to reference a note so I can complete a task, and having to bridge together these systems, there's a lot of friction. Same thing with having to use a dedicated to-do app like Todoist. It's really good at lining out these tasks, but what if I need to reference other documents? Well, I need to pull in the Google Doc. So I just really like the simplicity of just everything lives here. And then the one-trick pony type of softwares can still live happily and be embedded in them, which is my point number 2, is that it's basically the central hub for everything. Yes, I can get things done within this app specifically, but those other apps I still need to use. I still use Google Sheets. I still use Typeform. I still use Descript. Everything links to and embeds within this single framework. So I think of it more, Notion's more like the lattice work and the engine behind all my work. And then as I need to stitch together these other apps that I can't do in Notion or just easier, more flexible to do somewhere else, everything comes back to here. So I think of it as my dashboard and launchpad for everything. My third and final point as to why Notion I think is worth switching to is that Notion Labs is a growing company. They invest a lot in listening to their users. They regularly ship new features. They have a great support team. I've emailed back and forth with them several times, figuring things out. There's also a giant user base that regularly publishes tutorials and templates and videos and how-tos and everything. So that's really great to leverage. It's also affordable. It's either $8 or $10 a month, depending if you pay annually or monthly for a plus plan. But there's also a great free plan. So again, my action item at the end of the video is for you to start get Notion to start messing around. You can do a whole lot for free. Again, I have an affiliate link below. If you'd like to support me, what I'm doing with this channel, you can sign up through that link. So it's a robust product roadmap ahead of Notion Labs. They're doing a whole lot with AI, which is exciting. It's not a panacea, but I just think this tool really provides a fluid yet robust framework for getting things done. All right, now that we talked about why Notion, let's jump into a few Notion basics. Then we'll jump into actually putting it to use for you, and you see some use cases and templates later on. Here we are in a blank page in Notion. We're going to be stepping through some of these basics of the tool, the general UI, cover what pages are, do some basic text editing and formatting, look at what blocks do, the power of those. We're going to look at page links and navigation, how to move around in the software, then finally databases. And I'm excited to use these fundamentals in a later segment, and we'll be actually putting them together with some templates that I've built and some real life use cases. But we have to understand these fundamentals first. So here's a little bit of the UI. On the left-hand side, we have this collapsible toolbar, if you will. Produced by MKC is the organization I have right here. And so I can switch accounts, but this is one I'm going to stay on. You can go to settings right here and then have a favorite section. Only got a few. But the main Notion template or workflow that I am working from is Thomas J. Frank's Ultimate Brain and Creator's Companion. I used a different one, but I kind of built from scratch, but it was inspired by Marie Poulin. She's another great Notion educator on YouTube. I highly recommend her stuff. But I recently found Thomas Frank and have basically put everything into his workflow. So definitely check him out as a Notion expert on YouTube. This is the favorites bar. So I can go any page in the top right, click here, and I'll put it in my favorites bar. I'm going to collapse that for now. You also have something called team spaces. So if you have multiple teams within your organization, you can create and invite specific people to it. Right here, I just have a test team space that I've made that I have here that I'm going to be working within today. And down here, you have your private pages. So I can add something that no one else can see. If you just want to take notes or have something that's private, that can be down here. So right now, what I've done is I've added a page in this Notion projects test team space. So a page has to have a title, new page, title. And I'm just going to click empty page. So think of this very similar to a Google Doc. I'm just typing on a page. This is publishable and on the web, so anyone can view this if they want. So if we go to the upper right, hit share, go to publish and publish to web. Now I can click view site. I can view this within Chrome or Safari or anything. And now this is live on the web. I think that's one of Notion's most powerful feature is that anything I make, I can just say, hey, go to the web. I don't have to render it out. I don't have to put it on a separate website. It could be its own standalone website. And no one has to have a Notion account to view this. All they have to do is go to the link. It's available forever. You can set it to expire if you want, and they can see what's going on. So this is the live web page. I'm going to go here, add some new stuff. And now look on this page, hit refresh, and they see that. So this is a single source of truth, and I have V1, V2, V3. People are going to see it update in real time, very similar to Google Docs. So if we go back here into Notion, we are gonna see what all can we put on a page. I can add a cute little icon if I want, maybe a little notebook. I can add a custom one. I can also add a cover, which is cool. So I can make something look a little cool if I want. There's some ones that are built in here. I can also go to Unsplash and search for things. I'm feeling kind of spacey today. So we got that at the top. So we have just some style things you can add. And again, those are going to be instantly updated on the web page. So this, again, is just a canvas. I can add anything I want to here. So let's talk about text editing, and then we'll talk about more blocks and things we can add to the page. So every block has a little 6 dot right here. And so I can select this whole thing. I'm going to delete it. But what I'm working in with right now is a simple text block. I can do Command A or Control A. Command B is bold. I can italicize, I can underline, I can strike through, and those are all available right here. So if I have some new text, can highlight it, this little menu is going to pop up and I can format it. I can even do Command or Control E and make it formatted like code, which is pretty cool. I can do the normal key command for turning into a hyperlink, so an external site. So Command K, I can go google.com. Great, and now that would take me to Google. So click on it, and it looks like it didn't like that since I didn't put in the new address, but this is actually linking to another page. So I can actually link to internally within something else. So I can do /link to page, and I can look at something else. So here's the script for this very video that you're watching right now. So I've written out the script, and I'm reading this actually from an iPad just off screen, and I've linked to it. So I can have an external link or an internal one. So this is kind of blending blocks and text right here, but I can also have a heading. See, here is a heading. I just did the hashtag space, and that's an H1. I've also got double hashtag heading 2, and then 1, 2, 3, heading 3. So this is a heading block, and I can click and drag this block around, which is pretty cool. I can have a longer text block with lots of things. Copy this, paste, 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 paste. Here would be a paragraph, and I hit enter, and now I have a new block. And this is all text right here. I can look at part of it, Command B, make that bold. So normal text formatting stuff. I can also make something a specific color. So click here. I can make the text itself orange. I can make this pink. I can make this yellow, or I can make the entire background of it a different color. So I'm going to make this, delete it. Let's go heading 1 again. Click on these little 6 dots, and that has me select the block color. I'm going to give it a yellow background. I like doing this for headers to give me some visual cues here. I usually do my H1s as green. I can hit enter, and I'm going to hit the hyphen sign 3 times. And it makes a little divider. So you can just start to stylize and make clean a lot of different things. So heading 2 might have something different. So this is basic text styling within Notion. I want to show you one more thing with columns, then we'll dive a little bit deeper into other types of blocks. So if I go down here to heading 3, I'm now going to hit /. This is called a / command. And by doing that, it says slash, and you say like, hey, what do I want to do? And it just calls up different types of blocks. Again, a block is a specific way to format text or images or something within a specific spot in Notion. And I can click and drag that around whatever I want. So I can make a to-do list right here. And let's say if I want to have 2 columns of to-do lists. So 2 column to do. I'm going to go right here, hit slash, and actually want to turn that header into 2 column. I can actually hit 2C, turns it to 2 columns. And now I have 2 columns right here. So first column, second column. I'm going to make them bold here, and now select them. And now I got a to-do list right here. And list 1, list 2, list 3, list 4. I'm going to go ahead and delete this guy. So now I got 2 columns. Each of them have to-do lists. I can click on them and check them off. I can also have bullets. So doing hyphen space, bullet list. This is a common that I use. Let's look at some other blocks here. Slash, we already talked about our headings. We can do a simple table. So let's ask about audio inputs. You can do SM58, channel 1, SM57, channel 2, whatever. Simple table. Delete it. Let's look at a few more. We already talked about bullet list, number list. We also can have a toggle. So this is a toggle, and I can hide things in it. This is pretty cool. So hide me, and I can reveal them if I want. So if I don't want something viewable or taking up page space all the time, I could hide them in a toggle. I like this one. And I will show you the divider. That's just hitting hyphen 3 times. And also a call out. Pay attention to me. So automatically has this little light bulb. The background is blue, and I can put stuff in here. So I like having this if I need to draw attention to something specifically. I can also add an image. So here on the desktop, I got this picture that I took while I was tuning an outdoor rig for a graduation. And here it is, easily addable. I can also put it in this column if I want it. It'll automatically resize it to fit in this column. So if I want to have an image at the top, there it is. I can move it around. I think I can have up to 5 columns. Command Z works for undo in here. So it all just lives on a web page, again, viewable anywhere. So if I go back to this new page, hit refresh, all these changes are here. It's going to pull in that image and have it ready to go. I can share with the client. I can share with the team. Again, don't have to have Notion to view this. They have to have the Notion app to edit it. Again, very generous free plan. So having collaboration doesn't mean that every collaborator you invite, they have to start paying something. They can work with you for free. You can invite guest collaborators to your page. So now that we've covered most of the basic block types that you're going to work with, what if we wanted to link to and start having our network of pages work for us? So we need to look at another page. So here at this team space I have right here, let's look at a home page right here. So if I want to be able to say, hey, here's a resource I have on this page. I'm going to delete this, and now I'm going to hit bracket, so the left bracket, and now I can link over to this new page title, this Notion test page. This would be a little bit better title. I can go back with command forward bracket, and I have the Notion test page. So I can go back and forth. I can also look up here in the upper left and see where I'm at. So we're on the Notion project test Teams page. Teamspace, this is the Teamspace home page, and now I'll look at the Notion test page, and I can look and see where I'm at, and we're linking over to it. So now I can add any page I want, any number of them. What I did is I mentioned this page. Another way you could do it is also do /page, and I can embed a subpage right here, which is pretty cool. So now I can click down. So this is a subpage. And now I'm clicking down and said, let's do page, embed a subpage, yet another subpage in a subpage, so I can keep going down. So it's just like how it's turtles all the way down, right? So subpage, yet another subpage, and we're going down, 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 down. So it's infinitely embeddable as far as have page, 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 page. So think of it almost like Wikipedia. You have something that might be nested in an article on electrical engineering, and that's going to talk about electromagnetic interference. That's going to talk about how waves propagate, and boom, boom, boom. We're going just farther and down the rabbit hole. So they're all talking and linking to each other, which I think is the really powerful part, is I don't have to go anywhere else. It shows me the path up here. So yet another subpage goes up to a subpage, up to the Notion test page, and here we are. So I can always navigate back to home and where I need to be. Now let's move on to the last part of our basics here before we jump into even more use cases, and this is understanding databases. I think one of Notion's most powerful features. So we have made this test page here, but let's make just a brand new page, start from scratch, and let's do blank page. And instead of starting with an empty page, we're going to start with a table. It's going to ask you to select a data source. We're not going to pull anything in yet. Let's just make a new database. And now it's untitled. And let's make an example here so you can understand this. Let's say I'm a production manager at a production company and I'm in charge of hiring or crewing shows. Maybe I want to have a database of freelancers. So what might be some important information to know about them? So I'm going to call this freelancer database. I'm going to click up here at the top and give a cute little icon. We're an audio company, so let's do a little speaker icon right here. Right here in the first column, it says name. Every single row in here or page in this database has to have a name property. And that's this at the top here is that property. And then we can add different other property types as we move along. And by default, it starts here with the tags property. It's named at tags, but this actual property itself, if I hit edit, is one of from these lists. So it's the multi-select, meaning I can assign multiple tags to it, or I can hit select and just add one. I can make it be a number, just plain text, a date, a person, a checkbox, all sorts of things. So let's start building this out so we can understand some of the property types that we can deal with. Let's do 3 freelancers, an audio, video, and a lighting freelancer, and we'll start to populate some data. So we're going to do their actual name. We're going to call this me. Why not? And we're going to, Walt Disney is on my crew, and Taylor Swift. Why not? Here we go. So what might be helpful to know about freelancers? So let's go to edit property, type, select. Let's call this maybe skills or roles they could do. That might be helpful to have as a multi-select since someone might have multiple roles. So I could be an A1, an A2, or systems engineer. And in my mind, audio is blue. So let's make this all blue. Right here. Walt Disney, he's a video tech, so let's call him TD, Cam Op. Make him red. And Taylor Swift is lighting, so let's call her LED. She now also could do some rigging, so let's call her rigger. Here, yellow, yellow. So now I have all these in order. Now I can easily see in one place what they can do. You also might want to know their day rate and click on number format. I'm going to make this US dollar. So now my day rate right now is $650. Walt Disney, he's really good. He's super expensive, $750. And Taylor Swift is, she's $725. Let's call it that. So I'm going to rename this day rate. Let's say closest airport, what they might be flying out of. So this is just plain text. So for me, that's XNA. Walt Disney lives in New York, LaGuardia. Taylor Swift, CTO. Why not? So that's something we probably need to know. Let's add one more property that might be helpful. I don't know, t-shirt size. If a client is ordering t-shirts, I can now make this a single select. I am a medium, but I usually go for medium. Walt Disney is a large, Taylor Swift is a small. So now any new person, you can say like, hey, go change your t-shirt size just in case we're ordering some or the client has some or whatever. This is all here in this database. But I may not want to always see all this data all the time. So I can do a filter. So I may rename this table view, just call it everything. Let me duplicate it. And let's just say audio. And I only want to see audio people. So now I can hit filter, and I only want to see roles that are blue here, A1, A2, SE. Of course, add more, maybe RF coordinator, something like that. And now I only see audio people. So if I'm booking a show and I want to see like, hey, I'm putting together the budget and where these people are, let's just look at audio people. I could just as easily duplicate this and call this video. And now it'll carry the filter with it. So now the filter, instead of A1, A2, SE, is just these video roles. Of course, you can add them, save for everyone. And what's neat is if I go here and I have someone who want to add to the video department, I don't have to do it in everything. I can just keep the filters I have here. And let's call this person Theodore Roosevelt. He is good at shading, right? So he's an engineer. But I need to adjust my filter to add ENG. So that's what I put here. And now I'm going to make ENG up here with video. Can make it red. And now I've got that person here. Teddy Roosevelt's expensive. And then he's at LGA as well. T-shirt size is medium. So now I'll go back to audio, just seeing audio folks, video, just video folks, and then everything. We can also see things not just within these filters. I can sort them. So I can go here to sort. I'm going to sort them by day rate ascending. So this is from least expensive to most expensive. I can invert it, make it descending. So if I want to prioritize, if I have a real tight budget, show me in order the people that I want. And now I've saved this. So now I've got a filter and a sort in this. Now, what if I wanted to see the data in a little bit different view than if I was going to view it in this table here? Let's take the video database. I'm going to duplicate, or the video view of our freelancer database, say video cards. So what can I do here? I can click edit view, and the layout, I can see it not just only in the table view, but I'm going to look at it in a gallery view. And you say, why is this powerful? Because sometimes databases are hard to read. I can make a preview on the card, and I'm now going to actually add some properties to put on it. So now it just shows their name, but what if I wanted to show on their the card, closest airport, their day rate, their roles, and I don't care about their t-shirt size on this. So what's neat is that anything that's within the database, I have it all here. This is just another page. So I can go here to Walt Disney. So some special notes about Walt, worked with him on last show, did great. This now shows up here on the video cards. I have page content as what's previewed right here at the top. Again, this is exact same data, just viewed in different ways. Let's look at one more view here. I'm now going to click add new view. I really like the board view for certain things. So I now have a Kanban board, or similar to Trello. And now I can move people around, like, oh no, Walt Disney lost some weight. Now he's a medium size shirt. I can move them around, and now updates here. So we can see Walt Disney was a large right here on his t-shirt size. Now I move him over to medium, and we see that reflected right here as well. Again, all the same data, we're just viewing it in different ways. Now, if I wanted to group it by, not by t-shirt size, let's group them by roles. So now I can see all the roles, and now they're showing up my name is showing up multiple places here because I'm A1, A2. But now what if I'm crewing a show, like, hey, I need to crew the A1 slot. Now I see every single A1 on my list. And let's add someone else. Let's say Robert Scoville is going to be on my list. He's a great A1, right? So now he's here. And now he's on A1. I'm sure he can A2 as well. If I want to edit his info directly, I just click on him, closest airport. Let's do JFK, day rate, $1,200, t-shirt size. I think he's a medium, right? So that's all right here. And now he's in my everything database as well. He'll pop up here in a second. Yeah, Robert Scoville, A1, 1200 JFK, medium, right? can change size from right here. Again, I just want to reiterate, it's all the same information. We're just doing different views of it. So last thing we're going to cover about databases, then we'll jump into some more use cases, some more templates that I use on an everyday basis. Is let's say I've made this freelancer database, but I don't want to have to keep copying it and putting it in different projects. So that's where linked databases come into view. So if I go to my Notion test page, let's say I wanted to display this on this page, I go / create linked view of database. And now I'm going to pull this data in to the link. And now I can bring in whatever view I want. So let's do just the audio department if I wanted to do that. So now I have this freelancer database. And let's say I'm making a crewing section on my project. I make an H1 right here, and now I can do a double, and let's do just audio. So this is all right here. I'm gonna make this blue background for funsies. Right here. Actually can click right here and hide the database title so I don't have to do this. So this filter is already in place. It's just showing the people who are audio for this particular show, and I'm pulling it in. So you see the power of having all this data have this bi-directional communication, because if I go back to my freelancer database, if I change it here, it's going to change it here. And there are certain ways to filter things and add relations. We can use rollups. It's crazy how much you can do with it. But we're going to stop here with new things you can add with Notion. I want to show you some other use cases instead of building it from scratch, show you what's going on. And you can also, some of these have templates available for you, so you can jump in there. Now let's step through 3 other use cases and examples that I use in my own personal Notion workflow. First is a project management setup, how I manage projects. Third is how I structure my notes when I'm learning something. So whether it's in a book or the course notes, you're going to see some actual course notes all structured within my Notion setup. And then lastly, we're going to do a business metrics dashboard, because you can't change what you can't measure. So how do I track and measure how my own business is doing within Notion? Okay, so first up is project management. This is my project hub that has all the different project types. But let's say I got a new system engineering or system design project. I would go here, hit new. I know this feels overwhelming. Oh my word, all this stuff. There's filtering and columns and all these different views. Don't worry about that right now. I just want you to look at the project template itself. So I've typed new. I'm gonna open up here, make it a full page. And here we are. Again, this is just a page with properties, so it's within a database, and then we can add things to the bottom. So let's just call this new system design project. I'm not going to go down here, and the powerful thing about Notion is you have templates. So instead of having to retype everything out the entire time I have a new project, I have a system design and tuning project template. I'm in the middle of building out some other ones for shows and other things, but here is what I use. Again, I have 12 active system design projects. They're all on this template. So I click here, it's going to pull all these in. Again, this general structure is from Thomas J. Frank, his Ultimate Brain setup. I love it. It's been really helpful for me. But we can see here it's automatically done a few things. It has tasks, then it has notes. Notes are anything you need to reference about the project, whether this is the project map or the deliverables. We'll talk about these buttons in a second. And then we have tasks, so things are that I need to do. So let's first talk about these properties. First, I have target deadlines. Let's say this is going to need to be done by June 30th. I host all the system design files and everything. They don't live here. They live in Drive, but then I copy and paste my Google Drive link here. So if I went to my Drive projects, and let's look at this particular project, I'll go to copy a link to clipboard here, Drive link, and I'll paste it here. Some things they live in Dropbox, so I have that as well. And I have a where we at property. So waiting on integrator to get quote. And this is nice because if I go back to my project hub here, I now see that where we at is right here. So I can look at every single project I have going on, and I can see what is happening. And this is actually a progress bar that shows me what tasks are completed. Again, these are fancy things that we're not going to really cover today, but I just want to show you the power of setting up a system like this can do. The client name, again, we're doing a work for Taylor Swift today, client organization, SwiftyCo, and their email, tswift@swiftyco.com, right? This is a relation, area, and resources. Not covering those today. Those will come in future videos, but it just show you the general setup. So here I've got empty tasks and notes, but I actually have made a little button. When I click add tasks, it's going to add them all to this specific project. So add tasks, sure you want to continue? Yep. So this is the normal tasks that I have. So the client call, send the venue, the guidelines, what I need from them, the project terms so they can sign them, invoice for the system design. That's the first part of the project. Then you deliver the V1, make sure they have the project map, which hosts all the actual deliverables, secure the travel dates, verify to the system, then invoice to the back half, right? So I have different views for that. I can look at it in a table, I look at it on a board for to do, doing, done. I can see it on a calendar, so when these are all assigned. So these are all here. I can assign dates to them and move them around. Next is the actual notes. So notes is just a general container for different pages that have different types of information. So I'm going to click add notes, continue, and I have the travel info, the project terms. So I've actually made a template for that too. So that's almost like a contract that I send a client. So right here, I click new project terms template. It's added a cute little cover up here. It's pulling in the rest of the data. It's attached to this project. So I have a scope of work, roles of reliability, payment and travel terms, communication. And now once I fill in the costs, they have a few links right here. I can hit share, publish to web. And now this is live on the internet. And all I got to do is email the client a link to this and like, hey, here it is. And if I need to edit it, I just say, hey, it's updated at the same link and here they are. So I don't have to render out a PDF if I don't want to. It's all right here. So I think it just saves a lot of time for having to go back and forth. Any travel info I have here, venue info and assets. So when they send me CAD files or PDF or drawings, they all go right here. Then I have a gear list, so I can have any gear that I'm sending back to them goes here in the gear list. And then I have the project map. This is where everything lives when I'm sending it back to the integrator. So that would look something like this. So here's an example of one. I'm going to go back and pull up one that I did for a past client. So this is a project map that I handed off to them. I have a table of contents block so they can jump to anything. I have general notes. Here's the system coverage. This was a VRX rig, how to aim them, the aiming for the downfills, all the settings on the boxes, the subwoofer layout. I made in Google Slides a little graphic to help with them, how to arrange the other subwoofer array. Here's the gear list with everything in the database. I had a Google Sheet embedded in here for the amp rack layout. They can look at cable runs, the processor output. So main mix left I was an input on A1. I had a blue 16. So again, it's all right here on one page. I want to minimize the amount of clicking around people have to do. So this is all here in a single page. I can update it, say, hey, it's updated at the link, and they have access to it, right? So that is the main view of what's happening in my project template and being able to look at these different things. I could put in meeting notes. And again, it's all kept up to date right here in a single place. I can easily access it on my phone. So this is my first setup I want to show with you here. I don't have a template for it because there needs to be for you to share with you today, because there needs to be a lot of back end that we haven't covered today to set up to make this work. But I wanted to show you this. The third one's going to have the template. So here's the second setup. This is my notes from my Smart Operator Fundamentals online course. So an MOC means map of content. This is something I stole from Nick Milo with Linking Your Thinking. So right here I have the map of content, and here's all my notes from the course. But I have right here in general some resources, the YouTube playlist for what's going on, the study guide they sent me, and then also the supplementary learning materials are all right here. So I just have one click. Here's the study guide. It's right here. One click. I have the link that they sent me. It's in Dropbox. Again, so you can see how it's stitching together all the other tools in one central hub. I don't have to ditch Dropbox. It's not going to replace it, but everything comes back here. And then lastly, here's the YouTube playlist. So I now, again, in one spot, I don't have to go to YouTube, Google it, put it in. It's all right here in one spot. And then all the notes for the course are right here. So in SOFO session 1, as I was attending these Zoom calls and watching the videos, I was here taking notes. So I have a link to the YouTube video that I was watching. I have the headings for each of these, and it drags it all in. Any screenshots that I took, the GUI, it's all right here. And I can go back. I can go back to any lesson, reference it, and here's where my notes on the subject And I really like having it all compiled right here. I can reference it easily. So any course or you take, or even a book that you're reading, I encourage you to put it all in here, have it in one trusted place. Okay, here's our last template. I know we've covered a whole lot today, and then we'll talk about next steps. I also use it to give me, as a more of a CEO or CFO of my business, some data about what's going on. So here's a template that you can make. So if you were to view this on a web page, if I went to publish and view site, you would have to have a Notion account, be logged in. You can try Notion, but actually use my link first, right? And then you would hit duplicate, and then that would duplicate it into your own Notion setup. So it's going to think about it and then bloop, put in a new page in your setup. So that's how you can use this. And and the parent and all the children of it come with it too. So we have this here, and you're going to have, this is just a page. I'm going to put it in this test one because I don't want to muck up what I have going on here. But it not only pulling this page, but the two databases that I have embedded here. And these are the originals. They're not linked, so you can have complete edit access to them. So that's how you could duplicate it. You probably won't be using the project or area resource relations here. You can just leave those blank. Don't worry about it. We can cover that in later videos. But here are two databases that I think are powerful, can have for you. So this is a hybrid of a P&L statement and a cash flow statement. I am an S Corp, so I have an owner's draw that I take out of the business. But if I look at a P&L, you don't see that, because I pay myself a regular salary that's taxed, but then there's certain tax advantages for me being able to pull out, as an owner of the business, a distribution. So I want to be able to see both in the same place. I have QuickBooks. It's powerful. It's great, but I can't figure out a way, I guess, because I'm not savvy enough with QuickBooks, to show me that all on one page. I want to look at, okay, what are my retained earnings, basically, is the technical term I'm looking at. So I can look at a monthly basis. January 2023, these are just made up numbers, but I have gross revenue, COGS, or cost of goods sold, so what costs associated with this specific project. And then I have a formula right here. So if you see that little sign, I forget the name of it, edit property formula, I can edit the property, and that's just the gross revenue property plus the COGS property, and it's giving me that output. You can get super fancy with formulas, but this is simple addition right here. And I have OPEX, which is operating expenses, and then I have gross profit minus OPEX gives me my net operating income. I also have other income. This is it for me. That's usually just interest on a savings account, and then that gives me my total net income. And then I have owner's draw. What did I pull out of the business as a owner for me to reap those rewards apart from my regular salary? And then what money did I put in the business? So I didn't any of these months, and this gives me my retained earnings. So how truly profitable was I is what I'm looking after. And then I have these all, I have a date property right here. I can hit edit property, type, date. I also have the date format as the full date. And then I have a start and end date on each of these. So I have January 1st through the 31st. And then I have a sort on this that sorts them by date. Then I have a filter where this view is called 2023, where the dates have to be on or after January 1st or on or before December 31st. So year after year, you could then duplicate this and then change it to be through 2024. And you can look at each year, and you can have another view called everything or all years, and that would show you your entire hybrid P&L and cash flow statement all in one view. So you can use this one, and this is also a great leads template. This is a new one that I've been using. So it's got 3 views: pending, closed, and lost, and those are up to the status. So if I have someone who reaches out about a project, whether it be booking me for a show or a system design, they're new, they're pending. And if I book it, they're closed, or if they decide not to go with me, it's lost. So then all these different views it's the same data, but then they're filtered by lost and then filtered by closed if I did not get it. So I just choose the appropriate status for the right one. So these are new leads. Has their name, their organization, their email, when I last contacted them. And I really like this one, correspondence notes, because sometimes I can't remember the last time I spoke with a client. So I actually use Typeform and a Pipedream automation to automate some of this. So we can cover that in later videos. But this shows me, hey, when's the last time I talked to them? So that's an automated follow-up. Or I could say, hey, waiting on boss's approval of quote. So now I can go back like, hey, what are my new leads? Oh, it's this one. That's the last time I talked with them. Here's the last time I corresponded with them over phone or email, whatever. And then here's some generic project info. I can also add a remind. So that's a neat thing about Notion. I can hit at remind tomorrow. And now tomorrow, the default is 9 a.m. You're like, bing, it'll send me a little update right here. It'll say, hey, you need to check in on this. So that's another thing if I really want to make sure I get to it. All right, so that's the end of that template. Again, view on the web page after you signed in and made an account with my link, and then duplicate it, and you now have access to this, and you can start playing around. Okay, that was a ton of information today. Hopefully it was helpful for you and to learn more about Notion, some of its basic features, why I think is one of the best productivity and project management tools out there. It is literally my second brain. Everything goes in here. It connects all the disparate apps and workflow that make up my business and my work life. So what are some next steps for you? In the link just below in the description, I have an affiliate link where you can sign up for Notion. No extra cost to you, but it helps support me and my channel. Would greatly appreciate that. You can go to the use cases section of this video just before this part and look for the template that I have. It's also at the link below, and you can duplicate this and start messing around with it, or you can just start from scratch and start learning. Again, how you're going to learn it is using it yourself. So definitely go for that. So what you can stay tuned for in future videos is more about how to leverage the AI feature, how to leverage more automation, how to use advanced features like relations and roll-ups to really supercharge your workflow. Super excited to share you with this tool. Again, I've been approached by over 30 different companies to advertise something on their channel, whether it be a gaming chair or a bogus SPL meter, something like that. And I've said no to every single one because I do not think it is of a value to you as someone who's trusting you with their time and attention. But I truly think this product, which I approached them about becoming an affiliate. I said, hey, I believe in this product. I would like to share with it with my audience, and here I am. It has really revolutionized the way I get things done. I think you can do the same for you. So definitely check out my affiliate link and get started with Notion. We'll love to hear your feedback about this series. I know it's a little bit of a deviation from the normal sound system design and tuning route, but I truly think the event industry could really benefit from using this type of workflow in this app. My name is Michael Curtis. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you next time.